Hi, Miss Tillman's class. I'm sorry the video didn't post, and I had already deleted it on my phone thinking that it did. So I'm going to go ahead and post video 8.1 today. We are doing 3 as a factor. That's topic 8.1. We have already learned how to multiply by 1 and by 2. Today we're going to use multiplication facts that we already know to help find new facts. So let's think about this. An array is a way of displaying objects at equal rows. What is an example of an array you have seen? Why do you think the array was used? So what I want you to do right now, I'm going to ask you to do 2 things. I want you to think about the questions that I just asked you, and I want you to pause the video, and I want you to go collect your counters. Hopefully you still have them laying around somewhere. I want you to go ahead and get 20 counters. They can be 20 of any item, 20 paper clips, 20 pieces of paper, etc. Go ahead and pause the video now, think about those 2 questions, and go get your counters. Okay, great. Did you get your counters? Did you think about those questions? Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to pose a problem, and I want you to have another sheet of paper so that you can write down your answers. I'm going to be asking you a couple problems today. Okay, the problem is there are 3 rows of pictures on a wall. Each row has 6 pictures. How many pictures are on the wall? So I want you to use your counters and lay them out in an array. So there are 3 rows of pictures, and in each row there are 6 pictures. So I want you to pause the video now and lay out your counters showing me an array. Do you have your array? Okay, great. Let's look at it. So what I want you to do is take a look at your counters. I'm going to hold up the array. I didn't use counters. I just drew circles. But I want you to see that if your array matches this. That is 3 rows with 6 pictures in each row. Check your counters. Does it match up? If it did, good. Then you've got it down. You know how to make an array. If it didn't, I want you to look at maybe what you did wrong. Maybe talk with your parents. Remember, 3 rows and 6 in each row is going to give us a multiplication problem. 3 times 6. And that's the multiplication problem we're going to try to solve. That is why your array is lined up in 3 equal rows of 6. So, I'm sorry. How many rows are in the array that you just created with your counters? 3. There should be 3 rows. And how many are in each row? There should be 6. How can this array help you find 3 times 6? Hopefully, you know that you can multiply in your head if you already know your 3's facts. You could do repeated addition, which would be 6 plus 6 plus 6, 3 rows of 6. Or you could simply just count out your counters if you're having trouble figuring out the multiplication problem. What we're going to talk about today is how we could break up this array, since we don't know our 3's facts yet, how we could break it up into 2 separate problems of facts that we do know in order to solve. Now, I'm looking at this, and I know that I have learned all my 1's facts. Those are really easy. And we've learned all our 2's facts. So if I'm thinking, what is 2 plus 1? 3. So if I did a 2's fact problem and a 1's fact problem, and I added those products up together, that would equal my 3's fact problem. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, because I'm sure you're probably like, what is she talking about? So, if I drew an array, and I drew this earlier, it's the 3 rows of 6, 3 times 6. I know that that equals 18. I want you to look down here. I have drawn an array that I've separated. Okay, it's the same 3 times 6 array, but I separated it into a 2's fact and a 1's fact. Here are 2 rows of 6 and a 1 row of 6. 2 times 6 is 12, and 1 times 6 is 6. If I put these back together, it would be my 3 times 6 array, and I would get the same answer. If I add the 12 plus 6, I get 18. That is the same as my 3 times 6 array, 18. All I did was separated into a 2's fact and a 1's fact. I know those. It's really simple. All I had to do was separate it into two different multiplication problems and add the partial product together. This is not the whole product because our whole product was 18. This is not the whole product because our whole product was 18. These are partial products. But when I add them together, I get my 18, which is the total product. This is just one way you can break up a problem. As we move into like 4s and 5s and 6s, it's not always going to be a 2's fact and a 1's fact. The 2's facts and the 1's facts work for when you're using 3 as a factor. So what I want you to do now is when we end the lesson, I want you to do these problems that I'm going to give you. I want you to draw your separated array, and I want you to bring those into Math Workshop tomorrow. So I want you to find the products of 3 times 7 and 3 times 8 using, you can use your counters, but I want you to show me on a piece of paper how you break apart those 3's facts into a 2's fact and a 1's fact. Okay? 3 times 7 and 3 times 8. Go ahead, and we're finished with the lesson. Go ahead and do that now on your sheet of paper and bring those into Math Workshop, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye, guys.